Hi, I'm Danielle and I'm the Business Development Executive for Flexmort, the company that makes the CuddleCot. Today I'm going to be going over setting up the CuddleCot, troubleshooting, and dismantling. To start, I'm going to go over all the items that should have came with your CuddleCot, and then we will proceed with setting it up. So to start, you should have 2 cooling pads. You should have your premature cooling pad, your full-term cooling pad, you should have your premature insulating pad and your full-term insulating pad. Today I'm going to set up using the premature cooling pad, and I'm going to show you how to swaddle baby with the cooling pad wrapped around it. You should also have your hose. You will have some Milton sterilizing tablets, or you might have your Biocide solution as well. We have since switched to Milton tablets in the US. This is the alternative to Biocide. It's just a small tab that goes into the cooling unit and it dissolves. You'll have your cooling unit itself. And again, I'm going to go over setting this up. You're going to use distilled water or sterile water. To start, you're going to plug your cooling pad into your hose. So you're going to take this end and plug it into the hose. From here, you will plug your hose into right here on your cooling unit. You're going to push it in until you hear it click, just like that. Now you're going to plug your unit into the power. You're going to open your filler cap, and at this point you would put in your water. You're going to fill it up until you're about halfway to 3/4 on this reservoir window. And at this time you'll either do your 3 drops of Biocide or one of these Milton tablets. So you're just going to put that right here into the reservoir. You're then going to put the lid back on. And at this time you'll take your unit and you'll push the power button. And mine doesn't have water in it, so you heard a little bit of a beep. You'll see a blue watermark right here, and that just means that there isn't any water in my unit. So to set the temperature, you're going to hit your Fahrenheit and Celsius button. You want this to be set to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's not set at that, you can use these arrows to get it to temperature, and then you'll hit enter. The unit should start at the temperature that you shut it off at, but it's always a good idea just to check and make sure it is set to the correct temperature. At this point, the water will start to fill into your cooling pad, and you'll notice that the water will go down in your reservoir. So you want to open your reservoir cap back up, and you want to top this off until, again, the reservoir is about 3/4 full. You put your filler cap back on, and the unit should start to cool. If you're not going to be putting baby on the cooling pad right away, it's a good idea to put a blanket over it so it's not cooling the room. Right now I'm going to show you how to set this up, swaddling the baby. So you'll take your blanket that you're going to swaddle baby with. I'm going to set that down right here. And then take your insulating pad with the shiny side up. And place your cooling pad on top of it. You'll then take your baby, and you're going to want the cooling pad to go right to about baby's shoulders. And at this point, you're going to take your blanket, you're going to swaddle baby with the cooling pad inside the blanket. And now you have baby swaddled with the cooling pad. So with this option, by swaddling baby with the cooling pad, family is able to hold baby while it's being cooled. They don't have to set baby back down if the temperature starts to rise. You're able to put baby into any sort of bassinet that you might have, or a hospital trolley if that is what you're using for baby to be in. If baby is not dressed, you'll want to put a thin layer between the baby and the cooling pad just to make sure that there isn't. A couple troubleshooting things I'm going to go over. If for some reason your unit isn't cooling, the most common thing that's happening is that you need to take your filler cap and just simply open it. There could be an airlock within the system, and that will just release the airlock. Second, you want to check this. This is like a lint trap that you'd have in your dryer. This just collects any dust. If this is dirty, you'll want to rinse it off. Make sure that it's completely dry before you put it back on. And lastly, the last troubleshooting, this is called the napkin method. So you'll take your cooling pad and you'll roll it. And this just rolls the water back up into the unit. Again, if there's any airlocks, and then you release it. You want to make sure that when you're putting your hose back away that you're not bending it. Similar to a garden hose, you don't want to have any kinks within it. So make sure you're checking frequently that there aren't any kinks within the hose underneath the blue padding. Okay, so to take the unit apart, you're going to hit your power button to shut it off. You want to make sure that the unit gets down to temperature before you're putting any of the padding back into the box. So you'll push these two blue buttons. That unhooks the cooling pad. You're going to want to take your cooling unit, and there's a button on the bottom here. You'll see the sticker says hose release button under unit. You want to make sure that you are pushing this as you're pulling the hose out. Just like that. Now at this point, you'll want to be over a sink. You can take your drain key and you'll drain out your hose. Make sure that your unit is unplugged from the power source. You will take your drain key, you'll put it in here and push, and the water will come out. All of the items that come with the CuddleCot, the hose, the cooling pad, and the insulating pads are all reusable. So don't throw them away unless they're ripped or broken. They can all be cleaned with any sort of cleaning wipe as long as it doesn't have bleach in it. Any of the sanding wipes, Clorox wipes that don't have bleach. The unit can also be wiped down. And you'll just pack everything away into your box. To reiterate, I want to make sure that when you're putting your hose into the box that you are making sure that you roll it rather than bend it to avoid any kinks.